Let's finally squash all of this misinformation that keeps spreading like wildfire from all these pirates that are tricking all these people into paying for these programs, giving false information. All right, the first main thing I want to talk about is no contracts are valid. All right, yes, David Windmiller can prove in a court of law that grammatically there are no treaties or contracts that are structured properly, but that's not how the legal system operates. It does not matter what is truthful, right, or just. It only matters about what you can prove. So he could go into a courtroom if he was alive and prove that there's no structured contracts properly. And furthermore, a lot of people think that because Federal Reserve notes were exchanged on a contract that there is no value. That is false, because that is backed by someone's promise to pay one day. It has full faith and credit. There is slight value to it. A lot of people want to claim that contracts are fraud when they start to get in default on some type of payments, but that's not how contracts work. Yes, our signatures created the asset on the books of the banks that they monetize, but when you started paying on that, you consummated that contract. When you took that promotional item home, you consummated that. Another thing I get all the time is find your indentured trustee at a bank. You do not have an indentured trustee at a bank unless you have appointed one and they have accepted it. You can try to appoint one, but if they don't accept it, you do not have a trustee at a bank. In order to get a trustee at a bank, you've got to spend massive amounts of money, because it is not cheap to get a trustee from a bank. Secured party creditor. Oh my goodness, I deal with this all day long. So the secured party creditor process is such a garbage process. The U.S. citizen is not your property, that is the state's property. And by you putting a lien on that, you're harming the credit of an entity that is not even yours and you don't even have to use. And when you do a UCC1, that is an international financial statement that is making a claim, you better have an agreement between all parties on that contract, or you are committing international crime. So you want to commit commercial suicide? Go ahead and put a UCC1 lien on a straw man. And then I think the funniest kicker about the whole process is we are actually the trustees in charge of all the duties, debts, and liabilities and obligations of the U.S. citizen. So when you put a lien on it, guess who's obligated to set that off and pay for it? You are. All right, common law is the highest form of law. All right, look, a lot of us get woken up to this matrix and the rabbit trails of how we're actually sovereign and above all kinds of things through common law. Common law is very high on the land, but it is not the highest form of law. Equity is, chancellery is, chancellor. Look into equity as the highest form of law, and it trumps everything because it is the spirit of the law. All right, last but not least, being a belligerent in order to get rights. Yes, out in the public, you have to state claims and rights, but being a belligerent is completely against everything that I have studied over the last 10 years. You have to be at peace and in harmony. If you are an enemy or a belligerent, you are considered a combatant and you do not have any rights or remedies. The Constitution is suspended to enemies. Contracts aren't even valid between two enemies inside of a court case, so you have to always be at peace and come from love.